What if I told you there's a way to 10x your Shopify revenue overnight? Hey e-commerce warriors, Des here from the Ecom Corner. Are you tired of really low conversion rates on your e-commerce store? Are you also frustrated with abandoned checkouts? Stay tuned because I'm about to show you 100 proven strategies to grow your Shopify store. And no, none of these have anything to do with Chinese dropshipping. Now, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale, this video is definitely for you. Now guys, what I will say is you need to act fast because these strategies are working right now, but they may not work in the future. So grab your notebook, fire up your e-commerce dashboard, and let's get into the strategies. I'm going to go through them one by one. All right, let's dive deep into the heart of e-commerce success. We're going to look at product optimization first. In essence, your products are the superstars of your e-commerce store, so they really do need the red carpet treatment. So let's really dig into the first 10 strategies. Now, first up, we've got one of my favorites, and it's really popular at the moment, and we're talking about product videos. Did you know that product videos can significantly boost your conversion rates? According to Wiseowl, in 2023, the State of Video Marketing Report, 91% of marketers say that video has increased traffic to their website. And there's two ways you can do this. You can natively add video to your product pages, or you can actually have a YouTube video within the product page. And you know what really goes hand in hand with these product images? Quality images, especially quality images that have multiple angles, zoom functionality, and lifestyle shots. In essence, what this does, it gives your customers a virtual hands-on experience. And just remember, we're selling online, so your images need to do all of the heavy lifting. And it goes without saying that product descriptions also come to the top of the list. The only difference is we're going to go a little bit different with the product descriptions. We're actually going to tell a story with our product descriptions. You need to know exactly who your customer is, you need to know who the demographic are, and you need to write your descriptions telling a story about your product that fits with your demographic. Now, Amazon, their review system is actually the cornerstone of their success. With products having 4.5 or 5-star ratings, they're selling 3.5 times more than those with 3.5 or 4.5 times ratings. And where possible, have a comparison tool on your website or a comparison app. The reason why is it's so important to give your customers the ability to compare and contrast different products on your online store. And if you can go the extra mile, create charts highlighting key features and benefits. It's not just helpful, it actually keeps your customers on your online store a lot longer. And not only do you want to keep your customers on your store longer, you actually want them to purchase more. So obviously, if you think about it logically, the more your customer spends, the more you're going to actually earn from your online store. And that's why bundling is so important. So what you need to do is you need to offer irresistible combinations of complementary products. It's a win-win for your customer, and it's also a win-win for you. You get a higher average order value and better customer experience. If you couple this feature with the frequently bought together app or the feature on your online store, and this makes your store absolutely irresistible. And I'm not going to lie, the likes of Amazon and Walmart are the first ones to come up with this, but there's no reason why you can't copy it on your store. Now, there are plenty of apps on the Shopify App Store that will allow you to do this seamlessly. Now, I guarantee you, if you just implement just those two things today, it will really boost the sales in your store. Now, those are what I like to call oldies but goodies, but we've now got new features like 360-degree angles on your website. This basically gives customers a complete view of your products, and it's an absolute game changer for fashion, for furniture, and also electronics. And if we're going down the feature route, having a size guide on your online store will make a hell of a difference. It's the difference between somebody purchasing today and somebody maybe purchasing in 7 or 14 days time. Accurate measurements and fit recommendations can dramatically reduce returns and boost customer satisfaction. I'm going to be honest with you, it's quite a small addition, but it's a massive impact. And while we're talking about massive impact, you can't get away with having user-generated content, UGC, on your online store. Now, according to 2021 Stackler report, 79% of people say user-generated content really increased their purchasing decisions. And this is why the likes of GoPro and even Apple use UGC in both their website and also all of their marketing. If you have a look at them and you study them very, very carefully, they use UGC a hell of a lot more than their competitors. Now guys, I want to hear from you. Which of these strategies are you using now and which ones are you planning on using in the future? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below. And hey, if you're loving this content, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get on to the next part of the video. Okay guys, let's keep the product optimization train flowing. We've gone through the basics, now let's level up. So like anything you buy at the moment, customization is key. And you've got the likes of Nike that allow you to actually customize your own trainers on their website. If you can customize your trainers at that point of the sales cycle, it means that there's a higher chance of actually converting to a sale. And though customization is king, having a bestsellers list is queen in my book. So basically what you need to do is you need to show what's hot and what's not, and that means having a bestseller list. By having a bestseller list, you can show your customers what other customers are actually purchasing and what's hot in your store at the moment. And even though you're showing something that's hot, you also want them to have a bit of FOMO, and FOMO means the fear of missing out. And by this I mean having some sort of scarcity app on your website that shows customers that there's maybe 2 left or 3 left today, or they can get free shipping if they purchase by a certain time. And again, there's plenty of apps that will help you with this. It's basically a form of scarcity in the marketing world, which means you're telling customers there's only 2 or 3 of something left, or if they purchase before a certain time, they can get free shipping, for example. You'll actually see a lot of this going on websites like Amazon for Amazon Prime Day. And even if it's not an e-commerce store, but even look at booking.com, have a look at how they use scarcity on their website, and it'll give you some sort of indication of how powerful that tool is. And this next tip might not seem like a big thing, but it is big in my eyes, and it works so well. And stores that don't have it don't perform as well. And I'm talking about trust badges. So trust badges are small additions, but again with a big impact. They're often called security badges or certifications or even awards. And what you need to do is display them proudly. These little symbols can be the difference between a bounce and a sale. And if we're talking big differences, we've definitely got to talk about augmented reality. This is something that's not new, but there aren't many stores that have actually employed this tactic yet. You've got stores like Warby Parker that have employed this to massive effect. Their virtual try-on feature has been used well over 30 million times, contributing to the company's growth to a 6.1 billion valuation in 2021. Even though we talked about UGC before, we're going to talk about customer testimonial videos. Having customer testimonial videos on the product page really enhances sales and increases conversions. In essence, what's happening is your customers can see how other customers are using your product and actually enjoying it. And sticking with the product page, your features and benefits are really important. So you've got the product description, but you also below that you've got the features and benefits. And I know this sounds really obvious, but there are so many stores that don't use this feature. So what you want to do is you want to use bullet points, highlight USPs, which is your unique selling point, address their pain points, and make it crystal clear why your product is the solution they've actually been searching for. And after they've looked at the features and benefits, you want to have an FAQ section below the product page. These are the frequently asked questions about the product they've just been looking at. And addressing these common questions right on the product page is not just helpful, it's SEO gold, which is search engine optimization. Now, we talked about augmented reality before, but having a virtual try-on system on your store is even better. According to Shopify, 61% of consumers prefer retailers with AR experiences, and 40% would be willing to pay more for a product if they could experience it through AR. This is where the likes of Sephora, Warby Parker, and Gucci are really great at this. We briefly talked about testimonials before, but if you can have testimonials on your product page, or even where you've won awards for certain things, have them on your product page as well. And you need to flaunt them. If Kim Kardashian loves your product, you bet we're going to mention it. Just remember, it's all about making your products irresistible to your potential customer. So which of these strategies are you excited to try? Please put them in the comments below. Now, before we dive into the next batch of strategies, I want to invite you to join our free e-commerce community called the Ecom Network. It's the perfect place to connect with fellow e-commerce store owners, share experiences, and get personalized advice on implementing these strategies. We've got a fantastic group of entrepreneurs who are always ready to help and inspire each other. The link is in the description. Join us today and take your e-commerce journey to the next level. So in that last section, we polished our products to perfection. Now let's talk about website design and user experience. So guys, your homepage layout is your digital storefront. According to a study by Nielsen Norman Group, users spend on average 5.59 seconds looking at websites' written content. So you need to make sure those seconds count. Use clear, compelling headlines and strategically place CTAs, which is your call to action, to guide your visitors. And it goes without saying, your navigation on your website needs to be as clear as possible. Don't forget, don't just look at how it looks on desktop, also have a look at what your navigation looks like on mobile. And this isn't a problem if you've got a Shopify store, but if you're using another platform, make sure your website is mobile responsive. In 2022, mobile devices generated 59% of all global website traffic. If your site isn't mobile friendly, you're actually missing out on a chunk of potential customers. So we talked about navigation and we also talked about mobile responsiveness. What we also need to concentrate on is your About Us page. There are so many people that will click on your About Us page. Now, Patagonia's About Us page perfectly embodies their brand values. They're showcasing their commitment to environmental activism, and this authentic approach has helped them build a loyal customer base and achieve annual revenues of over $1 billion. So guys, it's really important to craft your About Us page and put a lot of thought into it. Because I can guarantee you, if you install a heat map on your website, you will see that this is one of the most clicked on parts of the navigation on your whole website. And after they've read your About Us page and they've found a product they want, you need to make the actual checkout process as seamless as possible. Make it nice and simple. Because according to Baymard Institute, the average cart abandonment rate is 69.82%. So that's why you really do need to streamline the actual checkout process for your customers. You need to make it as simple and easy to check out as possible. And it's not just important when they've actually decided to purchase something. You need to make it as easy as possible to actually find the thing they want. And that means having a search bar on your e-commerce store. And what is mind-blowing is 30% of your customers are actually expecting to find a search bar on your e-commerce store. So make sure your e-commerce store has a search bar and it's easy to find. And this might seem really odd, but have as many call to actions in as many places as possible. Obviously, you don't want to overload your customers, but just make sure there are call to action buttons throughout your website. And even though this is part of branding, make sure your color scheme matches what your branding is. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a store and the colors they show on their website are completely different to what their brand is actually showing. And a brilliant example, believe it or not, is Coca-Cola. They don't have a different red on their actual logo. It's exactly the same on whatever piece of marketing you look at. And again, not a problem for Shopify store owners, but make sure your site speed is as fast as it can possibly be. And the reason why is because according to Google, a page load time goes from 1 second to 5 seconds. The probability of a bounce increases by about 90%, which is totally insane. And again, another small thing, but it has a huge impact, is make sure at the top of your navigation there is a breadcrumb as well. So if they've gone down several levels on your website, you need to show a breadcrumb so it's easy for them to actually go back to the last section they were just looking at. Now guys, I'm curious, which one of these have you struggled with the most? Or which one have you tried and it hasn't worked for you? I'd love to hear in the comments below. All right guys, we're on a roll and I really want to keep the momentum flowing. So let's go deeper into website strategies. Now we briefly touched on this before, but your product images are really important. You need to make sure that the background is just as good or enhances the product as much as possible. You can either use real backgrounds or use artificial intelligence. You can use those to actually enhance the background of your products. And I've talked about this in other videos, but make sure your categories are structured properly. For example, if you've got a clothing store, you need a women's section, a men's section, a children's section, a sale, and About Us. Make sure the categories are correct, and under each of those main categories you have subcategories below that. And we've gone through many features in this video, but one of my most favorite ones is a wish list. So that's where you actually, heart a product that you actually like, and at the very end you can go to that list and see which products you've actually chosen. And according to Brilliant, wish lists can increase average order by up to 19%. They're a powerful tool for understanding customer preferences and driving future sales. And this is where we can really start ramping things up by having something like an exit pop-up, for example. An exit pop-up allows you to collect either the customer's details or divert them to a product they haven't actually seen on your website before. And when used effectively, exit intent pop-ups can recover up to 10 to 15% of lost visitors. However, you need to use them sparingly. You really don't want to annoy your existing customers. And just as you don't want to annoy your customers, you want to show that your store is in many different places, and that means being omni-channel. And by going omni-channel, you make sure that your store is in many places, from eBay to Amazon to Etsy. It depends what your niche is, but just make sure your store is omnipresent. It wants to be in as many different places as possible. Now, we talked about navigation previously. A nice little feature, and we've used this on a few stores actually, is the sticky navigation menu. And that's where you're scrolling and the menu actually stays in the same place. I don't believe this is standard on most websites, so you're probably going to have to get an app for this, but it works really well and it increases conversions. And while we're talking conversions, it's really strange that talking about something like white space can also increase your conversions. Studies have shown that proper use of white space between paragraphs and in the left and right margins can increase comprehension by almost 20%. Apple's website is renowned for its effective use of white space. It's clean, it's minimalistic, and it helps people read their website. And believe it or not, custom 404 pages work really well if you divert people to another place on your website, or just have something funny and another diversion maybe to your homepage. If you can have something like this, as well as something like a progress bar on your website so people can see where they are in the sales process, this again really helps with conversions. Don't forget, having micro interactions on your website helps with conversions as well. The more touch points you can have in your website where you're asking the customer to do something and interact with your store, the higher the conversions will be. Now, I'm dying to know which of these strategies that I've showed you so far will have the largest impact as you think to your store. Leave them in the comments below. Remember, your website is your digital storefront. It needs to be inviting, easy to navigate, and reflective of your brand. These strategies will help you create a user experience that not only looks great, but it also converts visitors into customers. And for those that don't know me, my name's Des. I'm the owner of the Ecom Corner, and I also run the Ecom Network. I've helped tons of e-commerce owners scale their business using AI-driven strategies and automation. And my passion is to actually help you guys do the same. Okay, if you like the video and you've enjoyed the hacks that I've showed you so far, we're going to get really deep into marketing strategies, which is my favorite. So we've got our products shining and our websites humming. Now it's time to shout it out from the digital rooftops. Let's dive into marketing strategies that will turn your store into a customer magnet. And we can go really deep into something called email marketing. Email marketing is normally where you've actually offered something for free and somebody signed up, and then you've got them onto an email list, or they've actually purchased a product from you and you automatically put them onto your email list. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but having an email marketing strategy on your e-commerce store gets you the best return on investment that any marketing can provide. It's also the same with social media advertising as well. These are kind of like the types of systems, the types of automation that are set in place that automatically work for you 24/7. It's time to turn your social media into a laser-focused customer magnet. By using the likes of Facebook and Instagram aren't just for cat videos, they're your 24/7 storefront in a digital world. But here's the secret. Target like a sniper, not a shotgun. Why waste your precious ad budget on people who never buy? Instead, what you want to do is you want to zero in on your ideal customer. And it goes without saying as well that if you're going to use social media advertising or social media marketing, you really need to retarget your customers as well. And what I mean by retargeting, what happens is if somebody comes on your website, you place a cookie on their browser, and when they're searching other websites, they will see ads, your ads for your store of products they've seen previously, or a service they've actually seen previously. They'll start seeing that wherever they go on the internet. And of course, there are many ways you can do this, but using content marketing is probably one of the easiest ways. So what you're doing is you're writing and producing and publishing content on your website. Somebody lands on that from SEO when they've gone through Google and they've been searching for something. Maybe they've got a question and they need an answer to. As long as you can answer that on your website, again, similar to if they landed on a product page, you can place a cookie on their browser, which will then remarket to them later on. And even though there are several different marketing strategies, there isn't really one that's much better than influencer marketing. So that's actually choosing influencers to market your brand. In fact, Daniel Wellington, the watch company, built its brand almost entirely through influencer marketing. And it's the same thing with Gymshark as well. They partnered with lots of different influencers to market their brand, and they were one of the first ones to actually start doing this. And it goes without saying, if you're going to do social media marketing, then Google needs to be at the forefront of any type of advertising you're doing. Google shopping is like having a prime spot in the world's biggest mall, but only if you play it smart. First things first, optimize that product feed like your business depends on it, because it actually does. You want to use crisp images, compelling titles, and spot-on descriptions. And we talked about Google, we talked about Facebook, we talked about Instagram, but did you know that Pinterest is a massive form of traffic, especially if your products are really nice looking? Try using Pinterest and use it daily to pin your products to Pinterest. If you think Pinterest is just for DIY crafts and wedding planning, think again. It's a goldmine for e-commerce, especially if you're just selling products that make people say, you know what, I didn't know I needed this until now. But success on Pinterest isn't about random pinning, it's actually about strategy. And one secret weapon that a lot of e-commerce stores don't use is YouTube. A lot of e-commerce stores upload their videos natively, which means just uploading it from their hard drive directly to their e-commerce store. But what you can also do is use YouTube, because did you know that YouTube is the second largest search engine? So it's really important to put your products on there as well. And what actually goes hand in hand with influencer marketing that we spoke about earlier is also affiliate marketing. Did you know there are a lot of websites that are willing to spend a lot of money to market your products? They're willing to put in a lot of time, a lot of content marketing to promote your products. So try affiliate marketing as one of the best hacks you can do today. In e-commerce, timing is basically everything. So seasonal promotions aren't just about slapping a discount on your products during the holidays. They're about being in the right place at the right time with the right offer every single time. And it doesn't matter when your customer purchases from you. It could be spring, could be fall, autumn, winter. It doesn't matter when they purchase from you. If they're happy with their product, they will refer you. So this is where you want to turn your customers into the cheerleaders for your brand. And don't forget, there are lots of apps you can actually sign up for that will help you create these referral programs. So we touched on email marketing very briefly earlier, but we haven't talked about SMS marketing, have we? Now imagine having a direct line to your customer's attention, bypassing crowded inboxes and noisy social media feeds. That's kind of the power of SMS marketing. But with great power comes really great responsibility. This isn't just another marketing channel, it's a privilege to be in your customer's most personal space. And we briefly mentioned it before, but ensure that you're on the largest marketplaces. That's Etsy, that's eBay, and that's Amazon. These aren't just marketplaces, these are huge traffic generators. Millions of shoppers are actively looking to buy, and ignoring them is like setting up shop in the middle of the desert. But here's the catch: success on these platforms isn't automatic. It's about strategy, optimization, and standing out in a sea of competitors. So you need to optimize your listings specifically for that platform. And you know what I've seen many stores do now? They're starting having virtual events. So that's basically setting a time, so they'll email the customer or they'll send them a text message telling them that there's going to be a virtual event. And what they'll do is they'll live stream like a product demonstration, or they'll answer questions that their customers have. And in a world drowning of information, infographics are your life raft of clarity and style. They're not just pretty pictures, they're basically visual storytelling powerhouses that can turn your complex data into shareable, link-worthy content. It's your chance to make even the dry statistics look sexier than a supermodel on a catwalk. And we briefly talked about user-generated content earlier. If you have one of these virtual events, you can also invite your customers to come on and share what they're doing with your product, how they're dealing with it, any problems that they're having, and it allows you to actually come across and actually give them advice on what issues they're having with their products. And we talked about having a smooth checkout earlier. Don't forget to have an abandoned cart email that goes out. So once the customer has actually filled in their details, their email, and for example, a child might come into the room or the phone might ring, sometimes they just don't purchase when they're supposed to purchase. This is where you have an abandoned checkout email that goes out, just reminding them to actually go back to the store and purchase. And don't forget about having a brand hashtag, so that's specific to your store. A brand hashtag is your lighthouse guiding customers to your content and creating a community around your brand. And one thing that a lot of e-commerce stores miss out on is what we call podcast advertising. Do you know podcasts are the fastest growing media at the moment? So basically putting your name in front of your specific customer on specific podcasts can really get your name out there. And it's one of the biggest hacks that I'm seeing at the moment. And if you think about it, having a direct line to your ideal customer's ears delivered by a trusted voice that they choose to listen to. That's the power of podcast advertising. It's not just another ad, it's a personal recommendation from a friend they've never met. In a world of ad blockers and skippable content, podcast ads are the whisper that cuts through the noise. So if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by some of the strategies that I've gone through, don't worry. If you look in the description, we're willing to actually get on a call and discuss some of the issues that you might be having with your e-commerce store. And that's the great news. I'm offering a limited number of free 30-minute strategy calls. And during this call, we'll analyze your store, discuss your current marketing efforts, and create a custom growth plan tailored to your business. Click the link in the description to book your free call now. Now we've got rid of the fluffy stuff, let's get into the deep details of SEO. So product page SEO is like your digital signature on the internet. And you've got stores like Etsy that excel at product page SEO. Each product page is optimized with unique descriptions and relevant keywords, and also they have alt text for their images. They also encourage sellers to use descriptive titles and tags. And this approach has helped Etsy rank well for a variety of different long-tail product searches. And if you didn't know this by now, blogging on your website is huge. Whole Foods marketing blog, Whole Story, is a prime example of effective content marketing and SEO. In fact, what they do is they regularly publish articles on topics like recipes, nutrition tips, and sustainability practices. These posts are optimized for relevant keywords and include internal links back to product pages. And guys, there's no reason why you can't emulate this and do exactly the same. And I mentioned long tail keywords before. This is your gold mine into actually getting found online. There's so much competition out there that the longer the keywords are and they're specific to your niche, the more chance of being found on the internet. These specific phrases might not get as much search volume, but they're like striking oil in your backyard. Less competition, high conversion rates, and a direct line to your customers who know exactly what they want. You can also think of long tail keywords as fishing with a spear instead of a net. And as part of your SEO strategy, make sure you're internal linking back to product pages and also your collections. This really boosts the SEO of your website. Now, we touched on site speed earlier and we didn't really go into much detail. Walmart's focus on site speed has been crucial to their e-commerce success, so there's no reason why you can't copy that. They've implemented various techniques to improve load times, like including image optimization, browser caching, and minimizing HTTP requests. As a result, their mobile site loads in under 3 seconds on 4G connections. It might not sound like a lot, but make sure speed is of the essence on your website. And there's several tools you can use to see how quickly your website loads up. And an oldie but goodie, but make sure you've got an XML sitemap. Again, if you're using Shopify, this happens automatically, but if you're on another platform, just make sure you do actually have an XML sitemap. Think of your XML sitemap as the ultimate VIP pass for search engines. It's like rolling out the red carpet and saying, "Welcome to my digital empire." This isn't just some boring XML file, it's your site's blueprint, a roadmap that guides search engines to every nook and cranny of your online store. And not as important as it once was, but make sure you've got schema markup on your website as well. Again, if you don't have this as a standard on your website, you can either get a plugin or you can buy apps that can actually help you to do this. And since we're talking SEO, make sure your meta titles and your meta descriptions are all unique as well. Make sure there isn't another version of your meta title or meta description on another page or product on your website. And a pro tip, use modifiers like best, top, or current year to make your meta more clickable. And don't forget to A/B split test these. What works for one page might not work for another. And we talked about this earlier, but make sure the category structure is correct on your website. Your category pages aren't just a list of products, they're the bustling departments of your digital store. And optimizing these pages is like turning a cluttered stock room into a sleek, inviting showroom where your products can truly shine. And if you haven't started implementing this yet, try and build backlinks back to your store. In the world of SEO, backlinks are like your street cred. But here's the thing, it's not about how many friends you have, it's about who they are. One link from a respected industry leader is worth more than 100 from sketchy link farms. And quality content is your foundation. And here's a basic tip for you guys. You can basically spy on what your competitors are doing and find out what backlinks are actually coming from their website and try to obtain the same ones. You can use tools like Ahrefs to actually help you do this. And just remember, backlink building is a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's about building genuine relationships and providing real value. And if you found this really helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got some really great content coming your way. Now, this was big a few years ago, but optimizing for voice search is really key at the moment, especially with all the LLMs that are flying around at the moment. Focus on natural language and questions. And like I said to you before, create FAQ content and use structured data. With the rise of voice assistants, optimizing for voice search is becoming increasingly important. And just as you're creating new content, make sure it's evergreen. Make sure you're creating content that can work today, next year, and in the next 5 to 10 years. That's the beauty about having evergreen content. It means that your content will be around for so many more years. And just as important, don't forget to update that content as well. Now, if you have quite a few stores and quite a few branches, don't forget local SEO as part of your SEO strategy. You want to optimize for product name near me searches, create location specific landing pages, and build local citations. And even if you've only got one store, you can still implement this for just that one store. So don't forget about it. And tagging onto that, don't forget to fill out all of your Google My Business profile. Starbucks effectively uses Google My Business to manage its local presence for thousands of locations. They keep their information up to date, including accurate business hours, contact information, and even current menu items. Now, featured snippets aren't as powerful as they used to be, but it still works. So you really want to try to optimize for featured snippets in the search results. And I'll give you an example. REI, the outdoor gear retailer, excels at optimizing for feature snippets. Their how-to guides and product information pages are structured with clear headings and concise, informative paragraphs that directly answer questions. And talking of questions again, make sure you've got an FAQ page for your product page and also a general FAQ page, and ensure that they're FAQs that your customers are actually asking. There's no point in just making ones up or coming up with ones that have come from ChatGPT or Claude, for example. Have a look at what your questions are asking, have a look at the comments on social media, and craft your FAQs around what your customers are asking. You want to start by addressing the real burning questions your customers have, dig into their customer service logs, social media comments, and sales team feedback. What are the roadblocks preventing people from hitting that buy now button? Address these head on in your FAQs. And a pro tip for you, what you want to do is you want to link to your products from your FAQ pages. And don't forget to update these as regularly as possible. If something's changed, you need to update your FAQ page to actually reflect that. And what you also need to do is you need to use canonical tags. In this vast digital landscape, duplicate content is like a funhouse mirror, confusing for visitors and downright dizzying for search engines. Think of these tags as your way of telling search engines, hey, I know this content looks similar, but this is actually the original version. It's like putting a big flashing arrow pointing to your preferred URL. But it's not just about avoiding penalties, it's about preserving that precious link equity. And not as popular as it once was, but you could also look into AMP, which is accelerated mobile pages. AMP is your secret weapon for lightning fast mobile experiences. It's not just about speed, it's about giving mobile users the instant gratification they crave, while simultaneously catching Google's approving eye. And while you're at it, what you want to do is you want to optimize your images and make them as small as possible in size. And I don't mean the size on your website, I mean the actual file size once you've uploaded it to your website. But don't stop there, compress those images like your page speed depends on it, because it does. Tools like Tiny PNG or Shorts Pixel can work wonders, shrinking file sizes without noticeably impacting quality. It's like putting your images on a diet without ever losing any of the aspect or visual appeal. And also don't neglect what you're naming your images as well. img_12345.jpg tells search engines absolutely nothing, but Red Nike running shoes is 2023.jpg is a descriptive feast. And consider implementing lazy loading as well if you can. It's like telling your page, hey, only serve up images when they're actually needed. And I'd love to go even deeper in the next technique, which is called pillar and cluster pages, but I really can't, but I'll just touch on it on this video. So basically what you're doing is you're creating topic clusters for content organization. You're developing pillar content on main topics, creating relative cluster content, and links between pillar and cluster content. This approach can establish your site as an authority on specific topics and improve your overall SEO performance. And like I said, it's really hard to get into this now because it's such a big area, but if you can actually adopt the pillar and cluster technique, you will see that your rankings will actually soar. And if you like the SEO points that we've just gone through, you'll love the customer experience and retention, what we're going to go through now. All right, guys, we've made it to the final lap. These last strategies are all about turning the one-stop shoppers into raving fans. Let's dive deep into the art of customer service and retention. So it goes without saying that you need to have live chat on your website. This is something that can work 24/7, whether you're online or if you're not online. That's why it's important to put as much into the knowledge panel as you can, as much knowledge so when you're not online, your customer can ask a question and the chatbot can actually answer it for you, even though you're not online. Again, there are several apps and several services you can use. I think one of the most popular ones is one called Intercom. Intercom offers a powerful combination of live chat, chatbots, and customer data insight. It also allows you to segment your customers, personalize interactions, and even proactively reach out to visitors based on their behavior on your website. As well as chatbots, you want to initiate a loyalty program as well. So anybody that comes through the actual chat process and they purchase, you need to email them with your loyalty program. And I'll give you an example. Sephora's Beauty Insider program is a prime example of a successful loyalty program that was built to last. It's structured into 3 tiers: Insider, VIB, and Rogue. And these are all based on annual spend of the customer. And we previously talked about product customization before, but you really want to get into AI product recommendations. That's the next big thing that's going to be happening now. And this is something that's going to really boost your sales. Imagine having a mind-reading personal shopper for every customer that visits your store. That's the power of personalized product recommendations. It's not just about suggesting random products. It's about creating a tailored shopping experience that feels almost magical to your customers. And guys, it's really important to do this. If you're not treating customers as individuals, it's going to be really hard to actually convert them in future, because your competition is going to be using the exact same strategies that I'm actually laying out in this video now. And you know, we touched on FAQs earlier for both your products and also your standalone FAQ page. You also need to use these FAQs as the knowledge panel for your chatbots as well. It's really important that you do this. See, what you do is you have a massive database for all the questions and answers that are on your website, gather them up into one database and actually store them into the product knowledge for your chatbot. At least then when you're not online, if you're at night and your customer comes in the store and they've got a question, the chatbot can actually answer the question because it's basically drawing from the database that you've actually fed it earlier. And I think it goes without saying, you need to offer as many payment options as you can on your site. If somebody wants to pay by Apple Pay or Google Pay and that option is not available, there's a good chance that they'll actually bounce from your website and purchase somewhere else. And while you're doing it on the front end, make sure on the back end you have a badass return policy. I'll give you an example. Zappos, the online shoe and clothing retailer, is famous for its customer-friendly return policy. They offer returns for 360 days with a simple, no questions asked process. And I'm not expecting you to do the same as what Zappos are doing, but it needs to be a process that's really easy for them to follow, have simple steps, and there aren't many obstructions in the way of them actually getting a return on their product. And you may or may not have used this previously, but offer free shipping and do it strategically. You can either have it across the store or on specific products. And the beauty about it is, once you've actually got a customer, you can continue marketing them with email marketing, and that's by using post-purchase messaging. So in essence, what you're doing is you're sending order confirmations, you're sending tracking information, provide product care instructions as well, and ask for reviews after sufficient usage time. Post-purchase communication can really enhance the customer experience and set the stage for future preferences. And while you're doing that, make sure you're actually gathering feedback by asking your customer questions that they can answer about the service that you provided and also the product. Coupled with this, offering really great customer service throughout your store, whether it's the warehouse person or the person that's actually on the till, for example, or even somebody that's typing an email, have brilliant customer service. I can't stress this enough about, especially with new stores as well, the ones that don't give great customer service are the ones that are actually going to lose in the new game. And by making things as easy as possible, by having how-to guides and different guides to show them how to actually use a product, this will really enhance the customer service efforts for your whole store. And you can also do this, or you may not want to do this, but you can also have a VIP section on your website for VIPs. So in essence, what you're doing is you're offering exclusive benefits to members, providing early access to new products or sales, and creating a sense of exclusivity. VIP programs can encourage high spending, and they can also increase customer loyalty. If you want to go that extra mile, you can also offer gift wrapping services. You're not going to get a massive load of conversions from this, but you are going to get some people that actually want this service, and if your competition aren't offering this, they'll probably purchase from you instead. You can also go the extra mile by creating a community around your brand, and that means having a forum. You can normally bulk it on, so it'd be your website / forum, and then you can have a forum where you've got customers asking questions and you're answering them or referring back to your FAQs on your website. And don't forget to send out surveys to get a response back from your customers. You want to get as much intel, you want to get as much data from possible from customers that have actually purchased from you previously. So send surveys after they've purchased, whether it's by snail mail or even email. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, just send these. And we talked about bundling right at the start of the video, but you can actually do these for post-purchase as well. So if somebody has purchased something, obviously you've got the data for that already, you can basically bundle up something that's very similar to what they've purchased and actually send them an email with a discount of something that they could have actually purchased after their original purchase as well. And this goes really well, and it goes hand in hand with having lots of data and a lot of intel on previous customers. It allows you to send out personalized emails and also product recommendations. There's nothing stronger than that. And depending on how much margin you have, what you could also implement is price matching on the website. So if you know that you've got a lot of margin to play with, you can also price match and really compete with your competitors online. And probably one of the biggest things you can implement for now in the future is actually having a subscription service. This is by far one of the, other than email marketing, this is by far one of the best return on investments I've ever seen. Depending on what your product is, you can either do a subscription service on that product or even something relating to that product. But if you think about it logically, not only are you getting paid once, you're getting paid several times every month, every year. And a lot of new stores don't do this, but having order tracking and real-time updates is really important. If a customer can go to the website once they've purchased and actually find out exactly where their parcel is at a particular time, this really helps with loyalty and it helps with repurchases as well. If they've been happy with their service from the product they receive to the tracking to it being delivered, they're more than likely purchase from you again. Now I'm dying to know which one of these strategies you think you can implement today to actually boost the sales of your store. Or maybe you've got a secret weapon that's not even on this list. I would love to hear it in the comments below. And there you have it guys, 100 proven strategies and 100 proven hacks that can actually boost the sales of your online store. I really hope you found this helpful, and I'd love for you to start implementing 1 or 2 or even 5 or 10 of these strategies that I've showed you in this video. And just remember, you don't need to do these all at once. You can basically bookmark this video and save it for later, and then just go through them one by one and pick and choose which one you wanna tackle first. But go all in if you're going to try and tackle it. And like I said, there are many different apps, many different services that can help you implement a lot of what's gone on in this video and what I've showed you. And don't forget to join our Ecom Network community on school.com and also book in your free strategy call. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching guys, and all the best for your e-commerce success.